Okay, moving ahead here with the mental disorders. The scary thing here is that about 1 out of 5 adults will suffer from some form of mental disorder. Most mental disorders are characterized by abnormal thoughts, feelings, or behaviors that make people uncomfortable with themselves or at odds with others. That's again where we talked about that perception and um, attitude towards certain things, and not continued worry about things that might be out of your control that's going to contribute to this. So you need to try to figure out and balance that so it doesn't evolve into something like this. Organic disorder. The cause of a mental disorder is physical, so some sort of physical trauma that might have happened to that person, whether loss of a limb, a certain physical injury that might have happened that caused them to not be able to participate in certain things of their life. So right now, I got a cousin that just had heart surgery done, and he is 38 years old, and he might have to find a completely different job than what he's normally been involved in, and it's going to be a very traumatic thing for him within his life, and so hopefully he does not, get into this situation like this, but that would be an example of that. Functional disorders, mental disorders that cannot be traced to anything physical, so tied in with inborn causes, early experiences, current causes, or combinations of. So it might be something that you already have within your genes or heredity that might have already been a birthmark, or something that might, with your parents, or you're born without a limb, you're born without certain fingers, you're born um, different toes, or something along those lines that might cause you to have these feelings. But again, you gotta live with what's given to you, because again, there's only one you, and you can't control those things. So try to make the best that you can out of every situation, so that it does not go into a disorder. Anxiety. This is a big one, I think, with everybody, that fear that doesn't have a source, or is caused by a danger that doesn't exist. Anxiety disorder, anxiety interferes with normal everyday functioning, where if it gets to be that point that people are not able to carry out their normal everyday actions and such, then you definitely need to reach out to somebody and get some help with that, as some people go overboard with their anxiety, that they make it a bigger thing than what it really needs to be, and they constantly worry about things that they don't need to have to worry about at that point. So again, trying to calm that anxiety is going to be your positive coping skills once you figure out what's going to work for you personally. Again, I've told you mine, but it might not work for you. So you need to figure out what is going to be your positive coping techniques, whether it be passive or active, that you can calm those waters a little bit and bring that anxiety down, so it doesn't escalate into an anxiety attack or anything like that. And also, just talking to people is simple. I mean, you just vent, and that is a big thing. Like I said, you vent to people, vent to your pets, whatever. Just let things off your chest a little bit and move forward with it. Phobia. Anxiety, fear of an object or situation. So with this here, I want to ask you to think about what phobia affects you. Do you have a phobia? I myself, I have one that is snakes. I have no problem. This is where I'm going to get into some stories here. I have no problem with like spiders, bugs, mice, anything like that. But snakes, I do have a problem with. That I grew up with them in my house. They come through the foundation of our home, and there was a crack there that we finally found, and we were able to seal it off with some foam insulation. But otherwise, they'd sneak through there, and then down in the basement, we had a suspended ceiling, like basically like in my classroom, where the ceiling hangs down, and the snakes would just sit there and slither across the top of that, and you could hear them. And actually, one got fried underneath one of the lights one time. But so then my dad would come down there, and he'd flop it down from the tiles, and then he'd grab a hold of it and make it like a whip, and then break its neck, and then, kill it, and then it'd be done. But there's times I'd come home from school, and I'd come running down the stairs to go to my bedroom, and all of a sudden I see this pile sitting there next to, right on one of the steps. And I'd turn around, sure enough, it's one of those snakes coiled up, and I'd beat the heck out of it with a broom or something, and then take it outside and end up chopping it up with a hoe. But otherwise, I was sitting there one time too. I was going to the bathroom, and one would crawl up through the heat vent, came through that, and then there's times too that I'd wake up in the morning, go hurry up, jump in the shower, and I know that I'd stepped in certain areas, but when I come back to my room, there's a snake that was coiled up right in that area that I know that I had been close to stepping on. That would just freak me out. Then there's one time that I was home alone where a snake was sitting there slithering around up top of the tile area, and Dad wasn't around to take care of it, so I was like, okay, well, if I don't do anything with it, that snake's gonna have a bunch of babies, and we gotta worry about that. So I was like, okay, I gotta try to take care of this. So then I popped the tile open, and the snake comes sliding down to the floor, started slithering towards the couch, and we had like a stare off for a little bit. I'm like, well, I can't let it get behind the couch. So I grabbed the hold of it and tried doing the snap action like what my dad did, and the thing coiled around my wrist, and I freaked out and just sat there and flipped my arm like crazy to drop it off my arm. And luckily my dad came home a short time later, and I said, well, hey, can you come down here and take care of this snake? And he called me a bunch of names or whatever like that, and I said, I don't care, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but come down here and take care of this dang snake. So he did. So at this point here that I sit there and I see a snake in the yard or anything like that, yeah, it's going down. I'll be on the lawnmower. I don't care if my lines are straight or not. It's going down. Then I went out to Faye, South Dakota with a buddy of mine, bow hunting, and I did not realize that they had rattlesnakes out there. So we pulled into this guy's ranch area and pulled up the driveway, and I was like, what is that coil up on the driveway? He goes, well, that's a rattlesnake. I'm like, oh, hell no, what is going on here? And sure enough, we drive down the driveway, and thing sat there right next to the truck, and my buddy of mine just kept kind of backing up, going forward, and the snake would sit there and bite at its tires. And he pulled forward, and then he backed up over it and ended up actually squashing it, so killed it. And then we were out there where we're bow hunting, and we're about 3 miles away from the truck as we're trying to stalk up a mule deer and stuff like that. And all of a sudden he freaked out and he threw his bow out in the area and said, oh my gosh, something just bit me. And he's sitting there grabbing towards his butt. And I'm like, well, no. Everybody thinks that with the snake bite, you're going to go suck the venom out, and that's not going to happen. And not going to happen, especially sucking another guy's butt. But at the same time, you're not supposed to do that anyways. So you're supposed to just try to keep them calm and do not let them get too excited or anything. So I was sitting there trying to keep him calm and figuring out how his mindset was, how his head was, because I was starting to go through my CPR first aid response, steps. And then at the same time, I'm looking for this snake. I'm like, okay, where the hell is it at? And I'm looking around, and I couldn't see anything. Turns out, this guy stepped on a cactus, and the cactus flipped up in his boot and come back and stuck him in the butt, and he thought the snake bit him. And so, luckily, we're good, because otherwise I was like, this guy weighs about, at that time, he's probably like 280, 300 pounds. I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to carry this guy 3-4 miles to the truck, and then we got about an hour, 15, an hour and a half to a hospital, for crying out loud. So it kind of freaked me out, but I'm trying to keep him calm and go through my procedures and stuff like that. And luckily it wasn't anything severe. Then we were back out there again another year, and I'm walking along, and he's walking next to me, and we're walking back to the four-wheeler, and all of a sudden I hear this like a rattle. And I'm like, okay, what the heck was that? And sure enough, I look over towards where he's walking, and there's a snake coiled up, and it's starting to raise up a little bit, looking like it's almost ready to strike. And I said, "Snake, get the hell out of here!" And sure enough, he took off running, and I looked over, and there's another one that was over to my left side. That was the noise that I heard that kind of spurred up the other one. I suppose it was kind of like a warning sign and got that other one angry. And it was coming up, and we took off the four-wheeler, and he's like, let's go back there and check it out. I'm like, oh, hell no, we're not going back there and check it out. You know, especially we're just hunting with bows. We're not with guns that we could just shoot the snake right away, you know, and call it good. But, so yeah, then the other things I've had with snakes is I've been playing baseball as a kid out there in a field that was close to a swamp. Went to field the ground ball out in the outfield. And sure enough, I go field the ball, but at the same time, here comes a snake up in my glove at the same time. And then we had there's 12, 15 of them sitting right down the ditch area on the left field line, and we sat there and pelted them with baseballs like crazy. So whatever your phobia is, how are you going to address it? So I need to work on mine as well. That when I see snakes, I mean, I don't freak out and just go screaming and running away or anything like that, but I definitely do get the chills or the shakes right away when I see something that just kind of scares me immediately. But so how do we address that? You know, what is your phobia that kind of scares you, and how are you going to adjust to it? The other thing would be is, well, I'm gonna have to stop here now because I'm about done with my 15 minutes of this clip. But I want you to think about ghosts. If you want to hear about other stories, again, I know it's off the subject, but it's kind of fun to just talk about the experiences that I've had. Like I said, that I use a lot of my experiences, personal or friend related, whatever it may be, especially through the rest of these units here that we'll be covering through the rest of the year. So, do you believe in ghosts or not? What is your thinking behind it?